Now, a video I never got to make was my first year economics degree roundup video, because a lot of you guys are interested in economics, a lot of you guys want to know more about the degree side of things, and I get so many questions asking me how was my first year as an economics student. And in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about my experience as an economics student in my first year at university. How was the degree? How did I find it? How challenging? How stimulating? All of that good stuff. One thing to note is that obviously it's very dependent on where you go and what university you head to how hard the degree is and how much work you're going to need to put in and how close it is to this and that. You know what I mean? So I went to the University of York and I was told that pretty much York economics the first year is a bit more advanced than a lot of universities enter students at, and it's not because it's the hardest to get into, it's just because that's the way they choose to run their degree program. And my study abroad supervisor told me that, as I'm now studying in Australia on an exchange year. So that's how I found out about that, and it kind of made sense because throughout the year I was like, hey Dave, yeah mate, literally this economics is nothing like A-level. I don't know why people told me that. Basically people told me economics at university the first year was exactly like A-level, and it just wasn't. It just was not. However, when I spoke to my other friends like Ryan, they would say, yeah, this is basically the same as what I did at A-level, and it's just very dependent on the university you go to. I mean, for me, the graphs I learned and memorized at A-level, I don't even think I drew them once. Did I? Maybe? I doubt I even drew them once at university level. So the first few weeks started off and I had like an economics history module. I had different modules, micro, macro, data analysis, nothing out of the ordinary, stuff you'd expect. You don't get to choose any modules in the first year, you just kind of get put in the classes. The first few weeks I was cruising. I had to do some probability. I'd forgotten so much stuff throughout the summer, and it was slowly coming back to me, and yeah, it was fine. The first few weeks were fine, the first month was fine. And then we started learning about these completely new concepts, and these concepts were things that I was like, damn, this is hard to learn. I'm not going to get into the context and contents of what I learned, but it was just stuff like, I don't know, the solo growth model, capital growth, you know, that sort of stuff. Lagrange method we was doing in micro, and the Lagrange method that we did in micro in the first year at home isn't done to like a typical third year course here. So it's, you see what I mean, it's very confusing in the sense that you don't actually know how the degree is going to be, how challenging the degree is going to be. And a lot of you guys always ask me, you know, Dylan, if I don't have A-level maths, will I be able to do economics at university? How hard will I find it? And I think that that is just one thing that's going to be very dependent on what university you're studying at. That's why when you DM me and ask me that, I try to give a different type of answer because it's just so subjective. I personally am so glad I had A-level maths. Otherwise I would have been so screwed for differentiation. There's a lot of differentiation in economics. But yeah, overall the journey, the first month was fine. Then in the build up to my January exams, things got a bit tricky. Yeah, things got hard. I mean, I started to feel the new concepts I was learning, like, damn, what on earth is this? I was sitting in lectures and I would have no clue what is going on, pretty much. I mean, there's only so much work you can do at university in the first year because you're going out so much, and you're just learning about university culture, especially in the first few months. So I wasn't working too hard, but I started to, you know, sit with a few friends that would just play games on their phone for a long time. Sometimes it was very distracting. But moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is that economics started getting really quite challenging. The new concepts I was learning and the pace that the lecturers were going at started becoming very, very hard to keep up with. And then some of the lecturers obviously don't always portray things in the most stimulating way and stuff like that. So things from about December onwards, November onwards, just got super, super hard. As in the sense that you go to lectures and it would be a common feeling that no one would have understood much, no one would have learned anything because people were just so confused. And I was in that boat a lot. The seminars and tutorials, it was a similar thing. Like, the seminar questions and the tutorial questions were so much harder than the actual final exam, which is, I guess in hindsight, it's a good thing. But at the time, when I was trying to struggle through so many tutorial questions, it was like, what the hell, just give us easier tutorial questions that are going to be like the ones in the exam. So that was challenging. Economics is hard. BSc Economics and Finance is what I study, if you don't know. And I underestimated how hard it would be. Another thing to note is that without diving into the content of what you actually learn, it is very, very theory-based in the first year. The first year of economics, boy oh boy, I'm not sure what real-world application there was to a lot of it, but it was heavily theory-related, and a lot of people found it boring. I know a lot of people did find it boring, and I totally see why they did find it like that, because personally, there were some parts that I found very boring, but at the same time, I kind of saw the potential for them to be interesting in the future, and I saw the potential for the real world application. And if you kind of master the theory, and then when you get around to the real world application, it would be quite cool to understand the whole workings of what's going on, the economics behind business decisions and everything like that. But other than game theory, which is where we were learnt about in microeconomics, strategies and stuff like that, it was very theory based. A lot of numbers, equations, substitution, especially in macroeconomics. It's mainly just equations and substitution. But then when it came to the final exam, it was a lot more essay based, which is why everything's kind of confusing. Yeah. So yeah, overall it was hard. It was very theory based, and I'm glad I had A-level maths as my A-levels coming into that year. The work-wise, you could have put in as much work as you wanted to for the degree, and the more work you put in, obviously it goes without saying that you get better grades. I got about a 61% average overall that year, because the first exams I just didn't really bother trying. And the second exam, second set, I did try very hard and I done well. Yeah, once again, it was more multiple choice type vibes in a lot of the exams, other than economic history, which was essay writing, and I've forgotten all of that stuff. I'm in my second year now of my economics degree, studying abroad on exchange. I've pretty much forgotten all of the economic history I learnt over that period. Good. Also, in the first year of your degree, you don't really get to choose the modules that you'll be taking. They're kind of given to you. But in the second year, when you move up a year into the third year as well, you can choose your modules you take. So it was a very interesting year studying economics. The finance side of things in my first year back home, no, they were non-existent. Basically, you don't diversify into the finance elements until your second and third year. In the first year, it's just pure economics. Everybody who's doing anything economics related, with the economics being the major, does the same modules, and it was a good time. We even had a maths module, which was fairly challenging, and you can watch my day in the life, so my study with me's, to find out about the contents I was learning about and stuff like that. But overall, it was a challenging time. Economics is a very good subject to study, very stimulating academically because the stuff is challenging AF. Obviously, it's not like biology or anything like that, but it is equally hard, definitely. And thinking back to my economics degree, that's all I remember. It was very hard. Lectures I didn't understand a lot of the time what was going on. Seminar questions I could never really do, which seminars are the same as tutorials, so I was always very confused. And I always had to go to the statistics and maths help to get extra help for that side of things. But I did good in the end, which is all that matters. But yeah, I guess that would be my first year economics degree summary. Remember, if you do want to see more of the contents that I was learning about, check out my older vlogs, my day in the lives, my studying as an economics student vlogs. This is just a quick little additional upload that I wanted to do throughout the week for you guys. And subscribe down below, and I'll catch you again soon.
While you drinking, fade away. On my friends they fade away. Don't worry, fade away. Don't worry, fade away. Nothing for the same, nothing for the same. All up in my head, that's how I behave. Passing up the same, waking up the same. All up in my head, that's just how I behave. How I behave.